the only way to make it as a pro track and field athlete is you really have to be one of the best of the best. The men's 300 for the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix is all the proof you should ever need, because Rai Benjamin got the victory, and that alone is really not a surprise to me. When I looked at the field, to me it seemed like he was the most talented athlete on the line. You have to understand, Rai Benjamin is not just the Olympic champion in the 400 hurdles, a race that he had been very close to winning year in and year out for quite some time before that. He's also run faster than 20 seconds in the 200, almost broken the 44-second barrier in the 400, which he doesn't run all that much because he's too busy running the 400 hurdles, and beyond that, he's even run 10.03 seconds in the 100-meter dash. That is a whole lot of speed. So when they told me he's running an indoor 300 meter, sounds like that's a race for Rai Benjamin to win. That said, you have to understand the field of men that he was running with, because Matthew Boling and Vernon Norwood were there. When it comes to Matthew Boling, I do have to admit that he is one of the most sought after athletes in track and field. But interestingly enough, his career shows the highs and lows that come along with the sport. He ran what I consider to be the perfect high school season, and to some degree, you could say the cherry on top for the whole thing was when he ran the fastest all conditions 100-meter dash we had ever seen in an American high school, at least up until that moment. But he was a long jumper, he had range all the way up to the 400, went to college, won 2 NCAA championships indoors in the 200, and people still think that he's an underachiever. I'm not saying that's my claim, but you do hear that, at least from what I can tell, from other people in the community. So now that he's on the pro circuit, he decided to switch up to the 400. And running in this race actually does seem to suit him pretty well. He's running a 300 now. So you get somebody who has amazing 200 speed, has proven it indoors specifically, but has range up to the 400 that got them all the way into the Olympic trials final, and for that matter, a gold medal in the mixed relay for the 4x4. Matthew Boling went out there and did his thing. It's just Rai Benjamin was there doing his thing also. But the man who nobody paid attention to in that race, at least going into it, had to be Vernon Norwood. Because in a track and field world, where we really only pay attention to the athletes who are all the way in front, Vernon Norwood is kind of like the Robert Horry of track and field. Robert Horry was an NBA player who won 5 NBA championships, but he was never recognized as a star player on any of those teams. But they called him Big Shot Rob for a reason, because when you had a player like him, the plays that you need to make to win a championship are going to get handled. He'll just slide into that role. Vernon Norwood's best individual finish in the 400 is getting 4th at the World Championships in 2023. But when it comes to the relay, that man has 6 gold medals at the Worlds or the Olympics in a 4x400 meter relay representing America. I'm not making this up. Most people didn't even know that you could run on it that many times. He also had the world indoor gold in the 4x4 to go along with it, and he actually made the race a whole lot closer than most people expected. But it doesn't matter, because he wasn't in the front. That man was still Rai Benjamin. But I also told you that this race is a whole lot bigger than the times, because the 300 meter indoors is not really taken seriously, at least beyond the New Balance Indoor meet. We ain't gonna be running at the World Championships, and outdoors, it's pretty irrelevant. It brings together this specific event all of the different components of what it means to be a pro. Because if you are not the best of the best, you really don't belong out there. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. There was a 4th runner on the track. It was Jake Odie Jordan, who runs in the class of 2026 as a high school runner. He did get last place in that heat, and he ran fast for a high school kid. He is a 5-star recruit on the SCA national list, ranked top 10 in his class. He was there at the World Junior Outdoor Championships, and in a world where gout is the most popular thing right now, Olympian or Olympic medalist Beyonce Walaza won the 200, Gout was second, and it was Jake Odie Jordan, who represents Great Britain, who got third place in that race. I bring all of that up to say, he is very legit, and he even took down a high school national record, albeit in a relay, just a few weeks ago. But on that track, running with those men, he was not on their level. There are levels to this, and Rai Benjamin's talent is the top level of it. The funniest thing about track and field is just about everybody's career ends the same way. It ends with a loss. Because if you look at the way we do qualifications, as high school, college, and even as the pros, you have to win and keep winning to qualify for bigger and bigger and bigger meets until one person becomes a champion. Rai Benjamin had been knocking on the door in the 400 hurdles for a while, an event that he dominates for very similar reasons to why Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone does it on the women's side. If you're asking me, they're just way more talented than anybody else in the other lanes. If you look at his individual PRs in all of the track events, minus the hurdles, there is absolutely no way that Carson Warholm should be running with Rai Benjamin if we're just focused on the speed. But he does. His hurdle technique and his training mechanisms must be as top-notch as they possibly could. But both men performing at their optimal. It's still a no contest, because in the hurdle event, and I know this as a coach, it's one of the few events, especially in the short hurdles, where we know who's supposed to win the race. The fastest runner, like the fastest speed runner without the hurdles, is supposed to win, because the stride patterns don't change that much. It's just how fast can you get those stride patterns accomplished. Rai Benjamin is faster than anybody who's running his event. For that matter, he could easily step into the 400 and mix it up with the best 400 runners that we have in the entire world. He just doesn't choose to do it because he can win a gold medal doing something else. It doesn't make someone like Matthew Boling, who finished distantly in third in that race, not talented. You just have to understand how much talent is actually showing up on the track when you say you want to be a pro. Because unfortunately, in the eyes of a casual track fan, and remember, I said that part, if you're not in first place, to most people, you might as well be in last. And Matthew Boling used to be in first place when he was competing at the high school level, and even to some degree while he was at the college level. He had so much talent between the jumps, the sprints, and the ability to go into the 400 that you almost didn't know what to do with him. Now that he's focused on one event, people are expecting to see the same thing they've always expected, him all the way in the front. But Rai Benjamin wasn't there when he was running in high school. He also wasn't there when he was running in college. But he is in front of him now. For that matter, Vernon Norwood didn't exist at either of those levels, at least not when Matthew Boling was on the track. America already had more talent in the 400 than we even know what to do with. But when an athlete like Rai Benjamin decides he's done with the hurdles and wants to come over to the flat 400, as far as I'm concerned, you can just kiss one of those spots for Team USA goodbye, because one of them is going to him. Everybody else is competing for the final two spots. So if you run the 400 and you want to become an Olympian, you had better hope that he wants to continue running the hurdles, at least until we get to LA for 2028. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your Fast is a Lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop, or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.